As a retro gamer and collector, I do have this feeling that we're going to be going into the inevitable situation. And I mean, inevitable situation that we cannot collect anymore in the future. Yeah, I know, this sounds like saying that the end of the world is near. But hear me out. If you're going to be looking at what's going on with development, and Nintendo is doing something that is unique, it still touches a little bit of my wicked collecting mojo, but the other side, it just feels like something weird you're buying. I mean, we have these new kind of cartridges. I feel we're actually going to be in the middle with this, because where we already had download codes and we had original collectible games. I, by the way, hate download codes. Nowadays we do have something different, and they call them game activation game card keys, whatever thingies. And when I noticed them, I've noticed them a lot. So actually, Nintendo games still are on the cartridge, but also when you're looking at, let's say, a lot of, let's say, other AAA games, they are on these very strange cartridges. But if you going to be looking at the original Nintendo Switch 2 games, we still have no booklet, there are no manuals nowadays, but we do have an original cartridge where the game is actually on there, meaning that we can play from the cartridge. Where with the newer generation of GameKey things, so we do have a cartridge, but when it comes to this, you're going to be having something you need to download, and this is going to be something I'm not going to be liking. There are actually two reasons. The first reason is when having, let's say, collectible, it feels like collecting just an empty shell, but it is also similar to the download code shenanigans. What I mean with the download code shenanigans is actually, yeah, it's all fun and game, but in there you're getting these very thick paper or semi-cardboard, and you're going to be scratching it away, the key, you activate it on your online Nintendo account, and you can download the game from your account, or at least you can download from the server. And with the serial key thing, it's actually something between, and I think it's interesting, but also kind of disappointing, because now it's going to be taking up a lot of space. We come with around 230 gigabytes of, let's say, space on my Switch 2. I wish they went for 512 or 1 terabyte at least, but that is not the case. So meaning that we need to install the download keys, but also when it comes to these semi-game activation key cards, as some of the games are quite expensive, but also still very massive to install. So I do wonder what kind of games will we buy in the future, and also what kind of storage will it take up. We're going to be having the same shenanigans with, let's say, the stuff we've seen with Xbox, but now with the original games we can still just plug it in. And of course it's less convenient to have everything on your Switch sometimes, but I think the collectible thing, but also if you're going to be looking into, say, installing, you don't need to install big massive files, maybe an update. And with this particular game, so let's unzip this, and yeah, let's do a little bit of unsealing with this, and you will see actually if you're going to be opening it up, we'll still have this cartridge. So collectible, this is what I mean, the collectible feel, it's still kinda there. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of these activation game cards. Do you think it's absolutely one big joke, or is this just going to be something we're still going to be collecting? Because in the end, this cartridge, it is something physical, but there is no game on there. So normally we'd had sometimes updates, but no, you're just going to be downloading the game. I know developers are very happy with this, because this way they can just fairly easy, let's say, upload from their service to Nintendo Switch and to your Switch too. And yeah, I understand from that perspective, it's going to be super easy. Sometimes if you're going to be a game is released from day one and has some bugs, you can just easily update it like we already could. But if you're going to be having no internet and you didn't install it before, you cannot do anything. Then of course we're having the download codes. Man, I hate these things. Looking into the stores, more oh, this is cool. Realizing there is a download code. You're paying $20 freaking for a game, physical, and with the newer generation, we're getting these very floppy, thinny pieces of paper. And I do wonder if they're going to be giving us more of these things in the future. But if you're going to be looking into, let's say, the digital stuff, and if people like it, let me know in the comments. Yeah, I understand it, because it's super convenient. You just grab your game system and you just have everything with you. You don't need to have this wiggling around all of the cartridges. But again, if you're going to be seeing these things in store, I'm always double checking, hey, is there a download code, or is this an actual physical game? Because we see these things more often, and I hate paying premium price for just a piece of paper. But there was one thing you need to take consideration. With all of the digital games, but also semi-digital games, we're going to be needing a lot of storage capacity. And yep, we're going to be having the SanDisk Micro Express card. This is going to be a faster card, but also way more expensive. If you're going to be looking up let's say a fast, normal, older 256 gigabyte card or 512, they're getting really affordable now. But yep, with the new cards, we're going to be paying way more now. Yeah, there was only like 256 gigabytes of a storage. I would like normally buy already like a 512, because if I'm going to be buying a couple of games, yeah, this card is going to be filled up fairly easy. And I think that is going to be the major problem with these semi-digital activation key card things. Yeah, we're going to be making a separate video. It would be fun to how to install the microSD card. But at this point, yep, we're going to be just installing it on my normal Switch, or at least like my storage of the Switch, because I have almost no games installed. So what you're going to be doing, I've been connecting it with the Ethernet or the RD45 through the docking for the fastest speed at this point. So you're going to be plugging it in. I have no account, or at least like I have no a Nintendo account activated, just pure an offline account with the internet. And you can see it automatically asks to download the game. You're pressing A over here, and it automatically starts the game downloading. So this is actually how it's going to be with the, let's say, digital key games. But in the end, this is the way how we're going to be playing a lot of these games, particularly when it comes to the non-Nintendo games. I've seen Cyberpunk, Harry Potter, everything is going to be the same kind of craziness, and unfortunately need to download every single game, and it's going to be taking up a lot of time. However, let's say if we're going to be removing the game cartridge, what happens then? Will it keep downloading? So let's check it out. So that's kind of funny, you can see that it will keep downloading, but I'm guessing if you're going to be downloading the game, installing it, if you're going to be removing the cartridge itself, it will not boot up. And yeah, I think that makes it really interesting when you're going to be looking into the future of gaming. So where we have like PlayStation 5 digital editions, Xbox digital edition. So Switch has like this, like say middle way, how do you say this? Like it's still like this digital, but it isn't, because you can buy something physical. Personally, if I need to choose for digital only and like a physical or semi way, I would go for the cartridge, because there's still something of a collectible thing going on. But let me know in the comments in the future. Yeah, this is going to be absolutely like a downside if every single game will have the same situation that we need to download them first. And in this way, we're going to be needing a lot of storage capacity when it comes to the microSD card. So hoping they will become cheaper in the future and very fast, because this is going to be an expensive way to play.